Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we're going to be looking at the Ambassador and specifically its charged shot mode. So the Ambassador is a weapon that has two different firing modes. It has the main firing mode that it starts with is like an automatic laser assault rifle. It's really cool. And then it has a charged mode that is just a big charge shot that produces like an AoE effect when it hits a target, or it hits an object, of course. Now, unfortunately, like a lot of weapons, they don't really play well together. They're effectively two completely different weapons. So the Ambassador is basically two weapons. It's an assault rifle and it's also a charge shot rifle. And they don't really play well together because you have to alternate click to switch the firing modes, and it takes quite a bit to actually switch those firing modes. Reload speed helps, but I don't know why you would put reload speed just to switch faster. It doesn't really make sense. So they're effectively two different weapons, and I'm going to make two different videos on the Ambassador because of that. So today is going to be the charge shot, and then probably sometime early next week will be the assault rifle Ambassador. So let's get into the build here. Okay, so interesting things about the Ambassador. The first thing is, and I'm going to skip this automatic mode here because this is what we're not doing today. We're doing the charge shot here. So the charge shot does not have regular IPS, does not have regular impact, puncture, slash. In fact, it doesn't have any of that. It just has electric. And same thing with the radial. The radial just has electric. So all we're going to have on here is electric and then whatever other elements we put on. So I'm putting on viral. That's why you see viral here as well. So the Ambassador, both modes actually, the automatic and the charge shot mode, have pretty low crit chance. Not like ridiculously low. You can work with the crit chance. But it does have low crit chance, but it has high status chance. But weirdly, and we've seen this in a few other weapons, even though it has low crit chance, it actually has an above average critical multiplier. Not an extremely high critical multiplier, but an above average, more than normal. So even though it has a low crit chance, you can still make this weapon work pretty decently with crits because of that crit multiplier. All right. And that is pretty much it for the unique things about the Ambassador. The unique trait here is just, I have already explained this. This is where you switch between the auto and then the charge firing modes. So let's get into the mods. So we're going to be going with Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot. Galvanized Scope for crit chance, Vial Acceleration for fire rate. Now the charge shot mode is very slow to actually shoot. And so you really need fire rate on this weapon for it not to feel bad while you're using it. And I would, I would suggest using the big one, the big Vial Acceleration that I have here with the 90 fire rate. Because like even Prime Shred, even some of the other fire rate mods like the 60s or the 45s, they don't feel like they get the fire rate quick enough where it feels good. Vial Acceleration is the only one where it actually feels good. So if you got a Riven for this weapon, I'm not going to show this weapon with a Riven even though I have one, but if you had a Riven with this weapon, you want a high fire rate because it's going to feel kind of bad otherwise. Okay. Next, we're going to go with Hunter Munitions. This is pretty much going to be why the charge shot works. If it wasn't for Hunter Munitions, the charge shot would not work. So Hunter Munitions is absolutely critical on this weapon. Pardon the pun. And it's because we're going to need to do criticals to actually apply those Hunter Munitions slashes. And so the next mod here is Critical Delay. This is going to give us a 200% crit chance. Buff, and if we scroll, well actually I'm all the way down to the bottom already. So the base critical is 16, okay? So basically every 100% critical is adding 16. So critical delay adds 32 crit chance on top of the 16 crit chance, and that's why it's at 48. So galvanized scope is 320 altogether once it's fully stacked. But if it, like, let's say worst case scenario, you don't have any stacks of galvanized scope, except for the basic one, which is super easy to get, because all you have to do is actually get a headshot. It doesn't even need to be a headshot kill. So you have 120% here. So that's going to be 16 plus 20% of 16. I don't know what that math is off the top of my head. It's like 2 or 4 or something. I think it's 4. two or four. I don't know. But with galvanized, like the basic galvanized scope and critical delay, you're going to be at about like high 60s for your crit chance, which is, it's okay. And then if you can get galvanized scope stacks at max, so like at max 5 stacks, there's going to be someone that does math better and will actually like say the math in the comments probably, but you're going to be almost at 100%, I believe. You'll be in like the high 90s. You might even be a little bit over 100%. It's almost exactly 100% crit chance is where you're at with a full stack of galvanized scope. But, you know, you have to just, you hope for the best, but you expect the worst. You're probably not going to be at a full stack of galvanized scope. You're probably going to be like hovering like 3 or 4, which is still fine. You're going to be very high in your crit chance. So even though this is a low crit chance weapon, with these 2 mods here, you're almost in full yellows. Not technically in full yellows, but almost in full yellows. All right, let me go past that point there. So now we have critical damage mod here with Vital Sense. And then we have our 2 mods to make viral. So we have Rhyme Rounds and Malignant Force. It's going to be the 60-60 Cold and the 60-60 Toxin to make viral. And then finally, in the Exiles slot, we're going to use Primed Rifle Ammo Mutation. This is pretty critical as well. And it's because the charged mode, every time you shoot, it uses half your magazine. So if we scroll up to the top here, we see we have a magazine size of 96. So every shot is 48 bullets every time you shoot. So it has a very big pool of ammo. I don't think it says it here, but it's like 800 or 900 for the ammo pool. So you have a very big pool of ammo, but you're still going to be going through it quite a bit because every time you shoot, it's 48 bullets. And so Prime Rifle Ammo Mutation is going to help you a lot with that. Then we're going to go for Primary Merciless. And it's because it's going to give us a 360% damage increase, but it's also because of that reload speed. The reload speed is going to help a lot because every 2 shots we're going for a reload. So you shoot twice, you reload. You shoot twice, you reload. And so more reload speed is going to help us. Also, a lot of your kills on this build is actually through slash procs from Hunter Munitions. And so if we went with Primary Deadhead requires headshot kills to stack it. We probably could keep Deadhead stacked. I mean, we're going to be going for headshot kills anyway with Galvanized Scope. But it's a little bit easier to stack Merciless, and we really like that reload speed in it. Deadhead, all it has is recoil reduction. We don't really care about that. The shoot's slow already. And it has a headshot multiplier, which would be nice, but I think I'm going to value the reload speed a little bit more. All right, and that's the build here. Something that someone mentioned in another video was like talking about Rivens. They wanted me to like maybe just touch on Rivens, even though I don't use them, but like maybe what I would consider like good stats for a Riven. And for this weapon, it's definitely going to be crit damage. And it's because, you know, on a Riven, everything is percentage based. So if your weapon already starts with like, let's say high multi-shot, then a multi-shot stat on the Riven is going to do more than other stats. Or if your weapon starts with high crit damage, like in this weapon's case, then a crit damage multiplier is going to do more for you. And so crit damage would be really, really good on this weapon. In fact, there's a mod called Bladed Rounds. I was really trying to fit this in this build. I was like, maybe I can do this without Vial Acceleration and I can put Bladed Rounds on. Because Bladed Rounds is another 120% crit damage. Like, man, this would have made this weapon so much better too. There's just no way to fit Bladed Rounds on this build without it being a worse build. But if you can get a Riven with more crit damage and be able to like replace one of these, because like maybe like let's say you get a Riven that has fire rate and crit damage, so you can get rid of this fire rate mod and then you could put it here and then you could basically just bank on that extra crit damage. Like that would be perfect. So yeah, crit damage would be your best stat. Multi-shot is always going to be a good stat, even though this weapon has it's just average multi-shot on this weapon. Even though this is average multi-shot's still OP, so multi-shot's still going to be really good. Crit chance will be really good because then you're not really just banking on like trying to get to 5 stacks of Galvanized Scope. It'll feel a little bit more comfy sitting at a higher crit chance like already like base without having to get those scope stacks. So at the end of the day, yeah, a basic God Roll Riven, right? Crit chance, crit damage, and multi-shot. Probably valuing crit damage more than any other. Alrighty. So that's the build for the Charge Shot. Now, in this weapon series, I take a weapon, I build it out, and I test the weapon on its own merits, meaning I don't mix it with external things. That would be like Warframe abilities, pets putting statuses on enemies, things like that. I just test the weapon built out by itself, and I let the viewer make their own intelligent conclusions about those external things that could be added. And so because of that, I'm going to be doing this on a big dumb Anaros with no Archon shards that increase weapon performance, no mods or arcanes on the Anaros that increase weapon performance, and with a pet with no sentinel weapon and no mods on the pet that increase weapon performance. That way we could just take a look at the Ambassador charge shot by itself, and the viewer can make their own conclusions about externals. So let's queue up the... let me double check that I didn't take that Vital Acceleration off. I was kind of messing with that when I was showing bladed rounds. Yeah, it's still on there. Okay. I didn't want to do the video with like Vital Acceleration off and be like, oh, this weapon feels a lot slower than it should be. All right, Steel Path Tab Uni. We'll do 10 minutes here. We'll kill some trash, kill some acolytes, show how it does. Now, the weapon is going to start off in the automatic mode. So, you know, if I try to shoot right now, it's the little laser assault rifle. But we're not doing that build today. We're doing the charge shot. So I got a middle click, and it's going to switch. There we go. Now it's in the charge shot. And so with the charge shot, if you click the button, it'll just charge and shoot. But if you hold the button, you could actually choose where you want to shoot it. Most of the time, I actually just click and let it like go off on its own, just because I have like a habit. If I try to hold it, I sometimes like will. I'll be too careful and I'll lose DPS because of it, because I'm maybe like holding my shots for the perfect shot. Okay. If for some reason I have to use an ammo pad at some point in this, actually, let me cast an ammo pad right now because I used up like half my ammo just doing that. But during the gameplay, at any point, if I have to use an actual ammo pad because I'm low on ammo, I'll make sure I say so. And the only thing you're going to be seeing me press is my 3, which just gives me armor and status immunity. So nothing else is going to affect gameplay.
As expected, Grenier have shut down the environmental systems, sending modified life support capsules. Use them to sustain your
And just like most weapons are going to start off pretty doo-doo until you get your conditionals up. So we'll make sure we get some stacks of Merciless up. And then we should be slaying here. So you're really banking on AoE procs from Hunter Munitions. That's where this weapon gets a lot of its functionality. Without Hunter Munitions, it basically wouldn't work. This weapon's alternate fire... I shouldn't say alternate fire because it's not really an alternate fire. It's a mode. It's a charge mode. But this weapon's charge mode really wouldn't work because it's a status-heavy weapon. It's like... you wouldn't really be doing anything with the charged shots. You are going to be wanting to try to get headshot kills. So you want to be careful with your aim. I have horrible aim. If you've watched my videos, you should know that by now, that my aim is absolute garbage here. So the weapon could be better in your hands. You might be at a higher scope stack instead of the like average of 1 I'll probably be sitting at in this. Not an acolyte, oh, he died really quickly. I didn't think he was going to die that quickly to it. I don't know if he was like hurt before. Or maybe he had a viral proc on him. Something to know about viral procs is that they boost damage 25% each, but the first viral proc is 100%. So, like, all viral procs are not equal. The first viral proc is 100%. Every other viral proc after that is 25%. So even if you're only shooting at an enemy with 1 viral proc on them, they basically act as if they had 4 viral procs. Because the first one counts as 4, basically. So it'll make up for some weapons that are slow, like this one. Like, of course, I'm probably not going to get a stack of 10 viral procs on enemies because this is a slow-firing weapon. But even if I can only get one viral proc on, like, AoE enemies hit by the blast, it's still worth it, you know? And enemies that don't die immediately, also the slash will, you know, work together with that viral proc to do extra damage. I really like the Ambassador. The Ambassador is one of my favorite weapons on Harrow. I shouldn't say it's one of my favorite weapons. It is my favorite weapon on Harrow. Harrow has had the Ambassador for like 3 years now on my Warframe build. I use the Assault Rifle mode, though, on Harrow. I don't use the Charge Shot mode. But I really like it on Harrow. Although after I did a video on the Prisma Angstrom and the Incarnate mode. I think after that video, I might actually switch to the Angstrom on Harrow. But the Ambassador is still really good. All right, we're going to deal with this Acolyte here. Make sure I have full Merciless stacks, and then I'll go deal with that Acolyte. He's Mania, unfortunately, which is the one that has Zephyr's Bubble. I also don't exactly know where he was. I tried to find him, and he was the Kuva Guardian instead of the Acolyte I was looking for. There he is. Now, the Charge Shot mode... Ooh, he might actually kill me here. Oh, my goodness. Let me put a status immunity and armor. He did kill me. Okay. Well, I apologize for that. I bring great shame. I bring great shame to my people. I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't have my armor and status immunity buff on. So we got 5 more minutes here. This weapon does do pretty decent against the Acolyte, though. If I did not die there, it would have been okay. The new Inaros rework, he actually can come out like he no longer has to suck enemies through his casket. He can actually come out of his casket to suck enemies to resurrect himself. So it's a good feature there. Gonna hit some life supports.
Critical life support levels. Extraction is your best option.
I'm gonna head to that next set of life supports too. Probably hit both of them, and then focus more on little trash guys. The Charge Shot mode actually does better than the Assault Rifle mode against Acolytes. That's why I was kind of hoping to show it off. That was my own fault, though, not having buffs up and just letting him beat on me. The Assault Rifle mode is not bad against the Acolyte. It's just that it's not good. It's a very... It feels like a basic assault rifle against the Acolyte. Maybe even worse than a basic assault rifle because it's, you know, viral electric, which is not the best combo of elements. Well, viral electric slash, but you can only stack slash to 4 on Acolytes. So unless it's a big slash like you get with this one, they won't do very much. So like these slashes are going to be better than the slashes on the automatic build that I put out next week. The automatic build will produce more slashes, but it's going to take like 50 slashes from the automatic build to equal like one of these slashes. We're starting to do something on the YouTube now where we put out polls like a couple times a week. We're asking important Warframe questions. Like the last question I put out this morning is, oh, here we got an Acolyte. Yeah, let me put my little buff up so I don't do the same thing again. He's the Necros Acolyte. Okay, okay. I can deal with it. There he is. Okay, he's not lost in the sauce. I hate the flame Eximuses, even if you're... So one shot into him, and his armor's gone, and he's got a lot of health gone already. Oh my goodness, these flame Eximuses. Even if you're status immune, they still throw you up in the air. It's so annoying. I deal with that a lot on Titania, because Titania has status immunity. And every time they hit you, they like launch you up into the friggin' stratosphere. Even though they're not doing anything, you're technically immune to it. Like the damage and the status effect, but the actual like knock happens regardless. Alright, so this Acolyte's dead. We're almost at 10 minutes here. But yeah, those polls were asking the hard Warframe questions that like no one wants to ask. Things like, if you were to take one of these Warframes to the Golden Corral lunch buffet, which Warframe would you take? Things like that. Which of these Warframes would you take as a fishing partner? Which of these Warframes would you like to legally represent you in a court case? Questions like that. So if you haven't partaken in the polls we have on YouTube, make sure you take a gander at them. I think even if you're not subscribed, I think you can still see the polls. But if you're subscribed, maybe it's just a little bit more consistent to see the polls come up. But that's up to you if you feel like subscribing or not. I won't push it. I would like it, but I won't push it. I'm going to let my life support run out because we're at 10 minutes here anyway. 484 kills. That's above average. Let me head to extraction here. So this did pretty well, the charge shot mode, 484. Keep in mind, I kind of didn't fight that first Acolyte, so I had more time to kill little guys because I kind of whiffed that first Acolyte. So the weapon might have had less kills because I would have spent more time fighting that first one. So just keep that in mind. Like if you were going to compare this to other videos on like the kill per minute counts. So we'll queue up the Lewis Circulus here. It's going to be the next test. It'll be 10 minutes, Lewis Circulus. It's going to be higher level enemies, 180 to 200. They're going to be mixed enemies, so they won't just all be Grineer. And it's going to force me to fight Thraxes, which are kind of like Super Eximuses, big, tanky, thick boys. I'm going to switch to my charge shot mode. Hopefully they don't steal my weapon in between. Get my armor and status immunity. I'm just going to summon the map. These Drakmasters are horrible. You start with, yeah, they stole my weapon already. You start with no conditionals up, and they give you 2 Drakmasters, which are like really tanky enemies. So you might as well just start the map and kill the little guys to get your conditionals up. And then once you have your conditionals up, go back to the Drakmasters and get vengeance. Are going to kind of Congo line these guys to the first set of life sports. It's always nice on these to fight next to life sports. if you were doing like your own gameplay and you're not like just crutching on one weapon only, like you're not going to have issues with life support really. But with my tests where I only use a single weapon, especially if it's like an average weapon, sometimes I have issues on life support just because average weapons won't be producing enough yellows. And I got these Drac Masters that steal my weapon, which don't help either. I hate the Drac Masters. I hate them so much. And sometimes Circulus has enemy density issues too, because enemies will stay in certain parts of the map, like fighting each other, unfortunately, instead of coming to you. So that's another thing that hurts with Lewis Circulus. I've thought about maybe switching the second part of the test to Mott instead, just to get rid of those issues. They would still be mixed enemies. They wouldn't be as high level. And I wouldn't be able to fight Thraxes. That's the only thing. But it might be more consistent because, like, some runs of Circulus are fine, and then other runs are absolute, like, doo-doo tier because, like, I mean, look at the map here. Look at where these enemies are. They're fighting each other in other rooms. At least, like, in Mott, they would all come to me. I would be fighting everything on the map. Where it's like, here you fight about 1/4 of the map, and then, like, 3/4 just stay in other rooms fighting each other. So, maybe after this video, like, maybe in other videos, I'll switch to Mott instead, unfortunately. I like Circulus because it starts at 180 to 200, but the spawns are pretty doo-doo. And it doesn't give you a great test number either because of the spawn. So, like, even though it would be a better test here, like, it doesn't, you're not going to get good results because they're going to be inconsistent. So, yeah, maybe this might be the last video I do on Circulus, unfortunately, because of that. Because I feel like this weapon is kind of an average weapon, but I feel like it should be doing better than this just because I think it's just having an issue because of the spawns. Alright, so we're going to get Thraxes at 5 minutes, and we're probably also going to get the Acolyte at about the same time. When they both come out, we're going to have to focus on Thraxes because they're the ones sucking life support. But it is pretty common for average weapons to fail on Circulus at 5 minutes, so this may fail at the 5-minute mark. Especially with the life support issues we're having. It should be pretty good against Thraxes. You know, big heavy slash procs are always good against big thick enemies. I think I've lost some Merciless stacks because I didn't have enemies to kill for a bit. Or I was focusing on bigger dudes, I should say. Yeah, I'll probably fail right here. That's okay. This might be the last video I do on Circulus, just because like every other video, I have issues on this map. All right, let me get these Thraxes down, and then we'll head out here. I don't think we're going to get the best test numbers, though. We have Angst coming. Fortunately, Inaros can just stay in a map. He doesn't really have to worry. Just because he has a crap load of health and health regeneration. I say that, and then this Acolyte's probably going to beat the shit out of me and kill me. Like he did on Kuva Survival. That was embarrassing. Die into a 5-minute in Acolyte. What are you doing, Salt? All right, Acolyte is gone. I'm just going to leave these Thraxes up. There's no point there. 178 in 5 minutes. It's pretty average numbers for Lua Conjunction. I think we probably could have did better if we didn't have spawning issues. So for upcoming videos, I think Mott might just be more... consistent. I guess the question would be, though, then do we even need to do Kuva Survival? So maybe it'll just be Mott. I don't know. I don't want to switch up the format too much. I'll probably do Kuva Survival and Mott for a bit, and then in the future, maybe we just do Mott. Maybe we do a longer one, like a longer 20-minute Mott. I guess it'll be what people like. You know, some people like watching longer content, like with gameplay and stuff, and some people just want to see the build, see like some quick gameplay, and that's it. So make sure you let me know what you like to see. And if I get like a big general consensus, like not just one or two people, but like a few people saying what they like to see, maybe I'll switch it up. All right. So that's the Ambassador Charge Shot. It's a pretty good weapon. I mean, it performed above average on Kuva Survival. Keep in mind, I kind of whiffed the first fight, so it had a little bit more time to fight trash. So maybe it would have performed average. But like, it's average at worst, above average at best. So pretty good weapon, worth building out. At the beginning of next week, I'll throw out the Ambassador Automatic video. So keep that, look out for that. I'll put in like the thumbnail, I'll put like Ambassador Charge Shot on this one, and I'll put like Ambassador Automatic on the one next week. So that way you can tell the difference, because they'll both just have like the Ambassador in the thumbnail. So that should be it. Thanks guys for watching. I appreciate it. I guess hope you guys have a good day and take care. Bye.